As we start the year, we want to look at a few things that will help us to make 2024 the best. And as the topic read, is that we want to see how do you escalate your success to the top 10%. Top 10%, actually top 1%. That's what I have in mind. It's okay to start with 10%, but ultimately you want to get to the top 1%. And this is possible because when I started the business, in 4 months' time, I was being recognized as number 4 in the entire East Africa. And in 2017, I remember I was recognized as number 1 in the continent, meaning in the world. So it is very possible. And I thought today I need to share a few things that perhaps helped me to achieve that. And then we ran with them. Remember, in our bootcamp training, we do specialized sessions to make sure that we achieve extraordinary results. So you may want to jot down these 5 points, keep reminding yourself, but more importantly, practice them. If you want to get to the top 1%, then you must do what others will not do. And number 1 of the things I want us to really do is put more time. Even more than you do for your job. This is a real challenge because, you know, your job is 8 to 5. I might not really be talking in terms of how many hours, but also in terms of the quality. It is not about the hours, but more importantly, it's more than that, but quality. You see, there's someone who will put in 2 quality hours for their business every day and achieve more than someone who has 10 hours in the day. 10 hours in the day. But then you cannot just ignore your business the entire day, yet you have put in 8 hours in your business, in your job, and really expect you to excel that much to the extent of being a top 1%. So we have to be very intentional that, yes, this is a business I have started, and it will not grow to that high level if I don't put in the time. So put in the time to do what? The basics. You'll have, remember, you'll have to really talk to people every single day. That will require time. Whether it is prospective customers or team members that you want to have in your team, you really must invest some quality time, some enough time every single day. In fact, I suggest this, that we make it a habit. Aristotle says that excellence is not an act. It is a habit. And what is a habit? It's something that you've done so much until it is no longer really in your mind. You do it subconsciously. You find yourself talking to people subconsciously. I mean, you don't have to prepare. You don't have to have it in diary that I'll talk to people at this time or the other time. It is every time you go out, you talk to people. So we really must put in the time. That is my first point right there. Other than time to talk to people and time to prospect, then we also should think in terms of time to train. All right? Time to train, time to read. I was challenging some people somewhere that you really must understand in and out of the key elements of compensation plan. And the earlier you do that, the better. In the YouTube today, you can get quality things about the business. So take time to do that. You just need to schedule it. that before I go to bed, for example, I'll listen for 15 minutes, this or that speaker. Something that is really very relevant to your business. So that's the first thing. Put more time than even you do for your job. You see, to conclude on that point, at the beginning, your job will be more rewarding than your business, no doubt. But later, your business will be much, much more rewarding than your job. Think about that. Your job will give you a living, but your business will give you a fortune. So where should you put more time, ladies and gentlemen? It is where you are building a fortune more than where you are building just a living, something to survive on. Number two, not far from number one, total commitment. I can tell you from experience, 14 years of even looking at how people operate in our business. Only those who are totally committed get to the topmost levels. The majority are interested, not committed. You see, there's a sharp difference between interest and commitment. Interest, you do it when it is convenient for you, when you feel like doing. When it's favorable, then you're interested. But commitment, you do it even when you don't feel like, even when it's not convenient for you, even when it pains. Every time I think of what I'm just talking about, my mind goes back to when I was a student, and I was so committed to make sure that for my first degree, I get first class honors. And I can tell you what I did. I never saw a single other student doing it. They all saying they were working hard because they were interested in passing. But without humility, there are a few things that I did that I never saw anyone of them doing because of my level of commitment. And I ended up getting the first class honors. I never saw any one of them waking up at 1 to 2 a.m. in the morning to read, but I did. You see, even for you, you are feeling like that's crazy. That's abnormal. But will you agree with me that you need to do the abnormal things if you are to get abnormal results? Otherwise, if you do the normal things, what do you get? Normal results. I would even be afraid to tell a student to wake up at 1 or 2 a.m. because it sounds a bit ridiculous. But for me, I did it because I was running from a very, very pathetic background that I didn't really like. I never liked, I feared the life that I could foresee if I never worked that hard. So in our business, it's the same thing. How committed are you? Are you willing to do whatever it takes? Well, some people say, yes, I'm willing, but they don't do it. And you know, it's easier to say than to do. For us bootcamp members, we have to really be willing to sacrifice to pay the price so that we can get the prize that we want, that mentor that you want, that recognition that you want. I know in this call, there are people who want to be recognized by end of the month as president team, end of the year as president team members, others as Ruby directors. But then the question is, are you willing to do what only 1% of the distributors will do? All right, total commitment. And I got number 3. Refuse to be a follower. Refuse to be a follower and be a leader. Why I'm using the word refuse is because all forces will be pulling you towards the direction of followership, because it's easier to be a follower. You don't have to do much to be a follower. You just need to sit back and see things happening. You watch things happening. And if you are to participate, you just do it for formality because you've been assigned. But the minute you decide you want to be a leader, then what you are doing and saying is that you are pushing yourself to the front line, to do what others will not be willing to do, to take risks, to try new things. You'll find yourself, let me use Jabi, my good friend in South Africa. You'll find yourself organizing for a meeting when you don't have an upline to really support you in that meeting physically, and you have confidence and you are ready to talk to the people. And you know they might ask questions, they might, some might be a bit skeptical, but you have the courage and confidence because that is how leaders are. And you know what happens? The minute you decide you want to take up leadership, you don't want to be a follower, some faculties up here start developing immediately. You start developing the muscle that you need as a leader. Actually, that's why we say you jump off the cliff and you grow wings on your way down. So you took risk, you decided you are going to throw yourself out of comfort zone. So where I want us to really immerse ourselves as leaders, number one is in doing presentations. Number two, taking responsibilities, like in trainings. I mean, you just decide to pick up something and you train on it. And of course, even before you think of leadership in the bigger team, think of leadership within your team. Even if you have only 2 people or 3 people in your team. I mean, you are the leader, you can lead them and take them to the top. So in team meetings, in your own meetings, wherever, take that leadership. And you know, if you, let me give you the secret. You cannot take leadership in your own meetings if you cannot start in the team meetings. That is easy to understand. You see, in team meetings, you have you're applying perhaps other leaders to guide you, to mentor you, to give you feedback, to first watch and see what happens, and then you start taking smaller roles like just emceeing as you grow through the system. But if you can't do that, then forget about doing your own meetings effectively. In fact, the starting point is like in Nairobi, where we have meetings Monday, Wednesday, Saturday at 1. I challenge you that the first thing you do is to make sure that you are in those meetings religiously. If you are far from where the meetings are, it's okay, you can start yours wherever you are. But if you can access those meetings, be there religiously, so that if we don't see you, then we know you are in some hospital somewhere. The best students make the best teachers. So if you are really a good student in those meetings, when you start your own meetings, you'll be a very, very good teacher. So we've already looked at number 1 to 3. Put more time in your business than in your job. Be 100% committed. That is total commitment. And number 3 so far, refuse to be a follower. Instead, be a leader. Let's go to number 4. I like this. Focus on results. Focus on results. You see, in our business, you are not paid because of attending meetings, because of talking to people, because of doing presentations. You're not paid because of those. You are paid because of the PVs that you have. How many points do you have? Sometimes you might feel like, oh, that's unfair. I did so many presentations. There's actually one guy in some county where I used to support the meeting. And he, in a whole year, he volunteered to arrange the chairs, the seats. Whole year. No one else did it. He arrived very late in the venue. He arranged the seating, that arrangement, and end of the year, he was complaining that he has not been paid a single coin. With all that commitment to arrange the seats. Well, unless I'm the one paying him as a token of appreciation because of his good job, in your life you will never pay such a person. I mean, you are paying from the PVs. So, can we work for results? And what that means is we challenge ourselves that by end of this month, by end of the year, I will have achieved this level. So you start from the results that you want, and then you move backward. You want to be earning 100,000 Kenya shillings, that is be a software director, that is having 10,000 points. Now move backwards. That means to get 10,000 points, I will need like 100 people doing 100 points each person. So I need 100 active people. And that means I need to sponsor, say, 10 serious friends who can sponsor the other 90. You see, now you're working backwards. And to sponsor the 10 serious people, I need to have presented to maybe 200, 300 people. And for me to present to 200 or 300 people, I need to have prospected 700 people. You see, so that is really how you work it out. You start from the results that you want, then you moving backward. I told you, Pieros and I had the plan of getting to president team level in 3 years, and then we started now working backwards, and it worked so perfectly that in 2 years, 11 months, we made it. So that's a strong point there that we need to run with. Go for results. So when you present to people, if you don't do a good follow-up, then you don't get the results, but there was activity. When you talk to many prospective customers and you don't close the sale, then there was activity but no result. On Saturday, I had one of us really feeling so sad that they had ever talked to someone who never joined and they never followed up. But on Saturday, this person came in through a stranger and she joined, paid everything, full registration. And my friend was like, oh my God, this has been my close friend. I had even told her about this business. So what went wrong? She informed. She did not close. You see, she sensitized on importance of the business, but she never closed. We are not in a sensitization business. We are in a sponsoring business. Remember, you've not sponsored until they have paid up the registration. And of course, you want to extend that and say that when you sponsor somebody, you have to work with them so closely to make sure that at the fastest, at the earliest, they also sponsor. So let's go for results. Nothing else. When we're doing recognition every Tuesday, we look at who sponsored how many, not who talked to how many. We look at who had how many personal PVs, not who posted the most on their status and their product page. So be guided by that. Results. Can I go to the last one? And this one I've always shared. Be in a hurry. Be in a hurry. Success loves speed. That's what I want to close with. If you want to get to the top 1%, then you cannot do the business at the same pace as everyone else. Normally, people are not in a hurry. In fact, have they not told us that there is no hurry in Africa? What a misleading statement, honest. You cannot accept to get into this business and build it with that mentality of no hurry in Africa. No wonder then Africans are really lagging behind. Swiftness is critical, ladies and gentlemen. Swiftness is critical in everything, not only in our business, even in our normal lives. You have to be very swift. So what that means is build a high momentum. Instead of talking to 10 people in a day, what would happen if you start talking earlier in the day and you finishing later in the day so that you can talk to 15 or 20? Right? So remember, to achieve more, you need to do more, to become more. And the only way to really be ahead of others, to get ahead of others, is to move faster. So I suggest we increase speed in everything we do, including walking. You see someone walking like they are looking for some lost coins on the ground, then it's even difficult to convince anyone to join such a person. I mean, people want to join people who look like they are going somewhere. So be in a hurry. Even when you are talking to people, they need to feel that this person doesn't have all the time. They value their time. All right? So don't postpone success to next year. That's another aspect of being in a hurry. Why should you become a Ruby next year, 2025? In any case, it's not yours. Today is your day, not 2025. So build the business as if there is no other time for you to build it, because for sure there are reasons. I want to suggest this. Let's condense our activities. Let us condense our activities so that we can do much more today than we would ordinarily do. And have a very strict to-do list. A very strict to-do list. To-do list is the list you write every evening about what you want to do the following day. Start it early. I wake up at this time, I read this, I do this, I get to the office this time, I talk to XYZ people, and write that down so clearly. And then don't allow distractions. When you say you are going to do XYZ, don't allow distractions, because they will slow you down. So that is what I wanted to share with us, ladies and gentlemen. And just in case you forgot anything, remember the 5 points. Number one, put more time in your business than you do in your job. Number two is total commitment. We call it commitment beyond repair. Number three is refuse to be a follower, instead be a leader. Number four is focus on results, and then you can work backwards. And number five is be in a hurry. Success loves speed. Should we work with those 5 key points, I guarantee you results will show. By the end of this year, the least of us will be a wound team. The least of us will be a wound team if we really put into practice this. Thank you so much for being there tonight for the training. Remember to be a doer, not just a hearer. Let's crush it this year. This is our year. Amen and amen.